Welcome to Unraveled Radio. I'm your host, Charnel, aka Miss Lovely Locks. And this is the show where we dive deep into natural hair, entrepreneurship, life, love, and of course, self-published authors. Today we have Adria Rivera on the show. Please welcome her and make sure to subscribe to the channel as well as go check out her new book. Go right ahead and let us know about your book.
Thank you so much, Charnel, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Just to, I guess, give you a little bit of background about myself, and the audience. I have been a writer all my life, but I used to do it just for fun. So like not on a level where I have a platform or anything like that. So I started officially self-publishing in 2022. But before that, my journey into self-publishing began during a pretty uncertain time in my life. So, like, I was in my late 20s, feeling very unfulfilled with like with where I was headed. My dad had just passed away, so it made me question a lot, like what I wanted to do with my life at the time. And it was at that moment I knew I needed a reset, not just like in my mind, but like in my business. And then that's when I discovered the power of self-publishing and email marketing together. So it was basically something that brought me joy and helped me process those feelings of hurt and grief at the time. And that's how I ended up writing sweet romance stories. And honestly, it's been such a fulfilling journey, and I'm glad I took that leap.
I definitely apologize about the loss of your father. I'm glad you were able to take something as traumatic as that and turn it into a positive and find your way to self-publishing. I know it can feel overwhelming for a new author, so what were some of the biggest challenges you faced in the beginning?
Oh, definitely. So the hardest part for me at first was learning the technical side of things, like formatting, uploading to Kindle Direct Publishing, which is known as KDP, and also getting everything set up the right way. And then there's the marketing, right? I had no idea how to reach readers or how to get my books out there. So I had to learn pretty quick. But I also learned that consistency and patience is key. So I used trial and error to kind of figure out like what worked for me. And then now, like I'm 3 years in, I'm more comfortable with the process now.
Definitely understand. It was hard for me to navigate at first, and I gave up a few times and came back. And I had a wonderful lady. She was my mentor. I can't find her.
Mm.
She helped me with my very first self-publication, which was like a planner. She pretty much gave me like a template for free. So that's what, and once you see your name, you're like, oh, I could do this. You
Right.
didn't really do it, but
Yeah, a
now I'm
lot more
like,
goes into it.
yes. Now, one thing that really stood out to me is how you built your email list over 1,500 fans in just 30 days. That's incredible. What
Thank
strategies did you use to make that happen?
Thank you so much. I couldn't believe it myself when it happened, honestly, because it happened so fast. So, like, my main strategy was to focus on lead magnets, right? So, I use platforms like BookFunnel and BookClicker. BookFunnel to create a freebie for readers in the form of a 20,000 word novella in my niche.
Oh,
Then I use BookClicker to optimize my lead magnet strategy. And so like I made sure to give away something of value in exchange for their email address, and it worked. I also participated in book promos and email list swaps, which really helped to grow my list. And I was able to do that to gain 1,500 subscribers in 30 days, a little bit more than that, honestly.
wow.
But that was the start.
That's excellent. A lot of authors struggle with building loyal readership. What mistakes should they avoid when trying to grow their audience?
Hmm. Yeah, a big mistake. Okay. A big mistake I see a lot of authors make is not engaging with their readers. Like just sending out a book and hoping for the best isn't enough. I know because I've tried that myself and it doesn't work. So like in time, like I learned you need to nurture those relationships. You need to be able to respond to emails, ask for feedback, and basically tell your story and make your readers feel like they're a part of your journey. Another mistake is not being consistent with email marketing. So like I think a lot of new authors are afraid of possibly over marketing, but I think honestly that's a good thing because I'm an over deliverer and oversharer. Like I want to give you all the things to make sure you're successful. But regular communication with your readers is key to keep them engaged, honestly.
I definitely understand. You've mentioned how book funnels and book clicker have been game changers for you. Besides those, are there any other tools or marketing strategies you recommend for self-published authors?
Of course. So Book Funnel allows me to deliver my reader magnet. Excuse me, something's in my throat. So Book Funnel allows me to deliver my reader magnet, which is my free book. So that's my 20,000 word novella directly that I will give to my readers directly in like a professional and smooth way, right? Um, and this way is great to build your email list. I also use it to distribute advanced copies to my launch team or beta readers. And Clicker, on the other hand, is a tool I use to track and organize my list. And that actually helps me to stay on top of things and ensure like I'm reaching the right readers within my newsletter. But like both of these tools together honestly help me streamline the process of connecting my audience and growing my list all together. And actually, I recommend using both of these at the same time.
Sweet. I'm gonna have to steal some of that.
Yeah,
Learning as I
great.
go. I definitely
Yeah.
am. For someone listening right now who wants to self-publish but feels stuck, what's the first step you would advise them to take?
So the first thing I recommend is to get clear on your why. So like why do you want to write or craft books? And what message do you want to share with the world, right? So once you know that, the next basically the next step is to get started. So don't worry about perfection at first. Just get your words, your thoughts down on paper, and like you can always revise later on. And after that, you can start researching the self-publishing process because in self-publishing, there's a lot to learn. And you can look into like the different platforms, like whether if you want to enroll your book into KDP Select, which is when you get paid by the page reads, each page that a person reads, you'll get paid and they don't even have to buy your book. Uh,
Mm-mm.
so, you know, overall, it may seem overwhelming at first when you're getting started, but just take one step at a time. And I think anybody can be successful as long as they keep going and don't stop.
That's excellent advice. Self-publishing is becoming a very crowded market right now. Do you have any advice for new authors that can make their book stand out?
Yeah, absolutely. So I love this because honestly, I feel like self-publishing is not crowded. So publishing low content books like journals, notebooks, and calendars are crowded because like there's little to no room for creativity in that space, right? So I create and publish high content fiction novels. And with that, the key is branding. Does your book title match your theme? Do you have a professional book cover? Do you have a compelling blurb? So everything needs to speak to your ideal reader, right? I also think finding your niche is really important. Like what makes your story different? What unique elements do you bring to the table? Most importantly, don't underestimate the power of reviews, right? So building up positive reviews is one of the best ways to increase your visibility and your credibility before launch day. And I also will be teaching my students how to do this as well, because this is how I do it.
Wonderful. So we've talked about how you've gone about it and you've given advice to other self-published authors. But what we didn't touch on is what's the name of your book and give us a brief synopsis of what it's about.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually have like a few books on Amazon. I have a total of, I want to say about four so far, right?
Okay.
And like the actually just released a box set as well, which is a combination of my first three books. So the first book that I wrote is it's called Grumpy Single Daddy Protector. The next one is Off Limits Daddy Protector, and then it's Off Limits Matchmaker Protector. So all three books have certain tropes in common, such as um, the guy is grumpy. Um, let's say he's a single dad. They're all single dads. They're grumpy. They're kind of like out of touch with their feelings, right? And then like the females, like she's sassy and like she's a little timid. She's either met she either dated the guy in the past and then they meet up later on in life. So kind of like a second chance type of romance. So the way I do my books, like I'll pick tropes
Mhm.
and like I'll pick about 6 to 8 tropes, themes that I see on the bestsellers on Amazon. And all I do is just put everything down on paper. And then I honestly use the same reoccurring tropes over and over and over again for that, let's say 3 or 4 books. And by the time I get to that third or fourth book, I'll box set it together into
Mm.
like one huge box set. Um, so that's basically that's how I do it. And if you want, I could read one of my blurbs for one of them if you're interested.
Oh, sure. I'd love to hear it.
Okay, so this one is actually I would say this is like a fan favorite. Off Limits Dr. Daddy. It's a sweet age gap dad's best friend romance, right? All right. So a whirlwind in scrubs disrupts my guarded world, breaking every rule I've set. Great. She's my best friend's daughter. I never wanted an intern, especially not her. Keisha's arrival challenged more than my hospital routines. Her prowess in the hospital surprised me, but her determination is what unravels my gruff exterior. Managing my ego with the growing attraction is getting harder. I try to resist the sparks igniting between us. The truth is, she's breaking through the walls around my heart. Now I'm balancing protecting my son and allowing love back into my grumpy life. Yet, when my son's life is at stake, she's the one I can't let go. Her caring nature reveals a surprising longing within me. She might be the missing piece I need. The end.
Well, that is nice. I get it now. That is that's pretty interesting. Like to me, you're thinking outside the box because like I would never that's an interesting story, and I could see why that's one of the best sellers.
Oh, thank you.
Wow. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice before publishing your first book, what would it be?
Okay. So like I would tell myself not to rush. So like it's easy to want everything to happen quickly, but self-publishing is a long game. It's not a get quick, get rich quick scheme. So you do have to take your time to learn, experiment, and refine your craft and everything. And most importantly, you want to trust the process and don't be afraid to make mistakes because it's all part of the journey. And I wish that when I first started, I would have took that advice.
Wow, that's good advice, and I'm taking it from you because I do beat myself up sometimes, and I'm always rushing, but I'm always got like 4 or 5 books in my head at once, and it's
Mhm.
like I can't do all of them at once. Just slow down, take your time. So that's
Right.
really valuable advice.
Mhm.
So could you share with us like maybe your website, social media, or any upcoming projects you have, and where people can find your books and connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. So you can find my books on Amazon. My pen name is Jamila Woods. That's JamilawOODS. And I love connecting with readers on Facebook and Instagram as well. That's typically where I hang out. So like my Instagram for my pen name is Jamila Woods Romance. And for my personal Instagram, it's Adria Rivera _. That's ADRIARIVERA underscore. And you can follow me there for self-publishing tips and inspo, and become one of my new founding students as well if you're interested in learning how to self-publish. And lastly, make sure to grab my freebie, the email list starter kit, for a step-by-step guide to grow your audience as an indie author. The link will be in the show notes, right?
Yes.
Okay, great, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you again for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you on. And to our listeners, if this episode inspired you, be sure to share it with someone who needs to hear it. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at unravel_radio for more conversations like this. Until next time, keep unraveling your journey and making your dreams happen. Peace and love.